What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Artisan Cutlery Tradition V2. The original Tradition has been around for a long time and has been a very popular model for Artisan Cutlery. So when these first arrived in my PO box, I initially assumed they were just new configurations of that original Tradition. As it turns out though, they introduced the V2 a few weeks back, and although the differences are subtle, they have made some improvements overall to the ergonomics of the knife while still managing to stay true to that original design. So definitely going to be recognizable if you're an owner of one of the original Traditions. One of the great things about this knife is that it's ultra budget friendly in this initial configuration at $44.99. Comes in a few different colors of G10 as well as coated and non-coated blades. You can see both of these have that black PVD finish on them, but again, if you prefer non-coated, that is available as well. And as always, I'll make sure to leave a link to where you can find these down in the description of the video. Another nice thing about them is that they're relatively robust at 8.07 inches in overall length. So if you're looking for a larger folder in that budget territory, I think these offer a really great value for the money. They also manage to stay very lightweight despite that size. I weighed both of these in at 3 ounces on the dot. That's thanks in large part to our G10 scales. We have nested liners that are skeletonized for additional weight savings, and then a relatively thin blade stock of about 0.11 inches in thickness. And so I think online these are listed at 3.35 ounces, but I weighed both of these separately. I zeroed my scale in between and weighed them twice. Every time they came up at 3 ounces, which is incredibly lightweight for an 8-ounce knife or an 8-inch knife. 3.35 ounces would still be pretty lightweight for an 8-inch knife as well though. So of that 8.07 inches, we get 4.49 inches in our handle. G10 scales on this initial offering, although if the initial Tradition was anything to go by, we'll probably see other configurations available in the future. I do like the finish of this G10, really nice contouring all the way around, and then this pattern, it looks a lot better than plain G10 and offers a little bit more in terms of grippiness than just plain G10 as well. We've seen that used on other CJRB and Artisan Cutlery models as well, but again, I like the look of it, so definitely welcome here as well. 4.49 inches gives me plenty of real estate for that full 4-finger grip and very comfortable ergos in this standard positioning. Does integrate a finger twirl as well though, and so if you creep up there, you have a little bit more real estate for larger hands, or if you just want that more forward positioning on the knife. Some nice grabby jimping here on the spine, well placed for your standard grip. I wouldn't mind seeing that doubled in length so that when you utilize a finger twirl, you also get some advantage from the jimping. You can see my natural landing spot when I'm utilizing that finger twirl is still completely clear of the jimping, so I'm not able to take advantage of that at all unless I slide my thumb a little bit further back there. Really nice, well balanced in hand, and it feels very lightweight both in hand and in pocket, which I always appreciate. So 3.5 inches on our blade, I think 3.58 inches to be precise. Drop point style blade, nice kind of all around usable blade shape there. We've got that thin blade stock, nice factory edge, and a full flat grind here, offering for a really slicey experience right out of the box. House steel AR-RPM9 on here, which is great at that price point, so definitely don't mind seeing that there. And then I love the placement as well as the pop of color on the OD green version with the orange thumb stud. Now the placement's going to be the same obviously on the other models, but they don't have those bright colors, so if you prefer something a little bit more muted, maybe worthwhile to go with one of the other versions, but I love the look of the orange there. Now something to keep in mind, since we have that finger twirl, we're losing a little bit of our cutting edge there, so even though the blade itself is over 3.5 inches, we get about 3 inches in cutting edge. For me, I'm okay with that trade-off because I really like finger twirls, but I'm sure some people buying an 8-inch knife might prefer to have just a little bit more cutting edge, get closer to that 3.5 inch realm with the cutting edge. Now, in terms of the other features, we have a liner lock, plenty of access. You can see the contouring on here is really nice already, but on that particular finger groove, it really guides you right into the thumb stud as well as that liner lock, and you have plenty of access. It's incredibly smooth out of the box, and the action on these feels identical out of the box, so I think you'll get a nice consistent experience no matter which version or which one you end up getting. I think they're all going to feel very similar overall, and so no jimping on there. Smooth liner lock, which I definitely appreciate. I know know some people like the jimping on the liner lock for additional just kind of purchase on there, makes it a little bit easier to actuate. I prefer just having nice access to it because it's still just as easy to actuate, but it's just a lot more friendly on your thumb, especially if you're someone who fidgets with your knives a lot like I do. You end up disengaging that lock a lot, and the jimping can really chew up your thumb. So definitely prefer that smooth liner lock there. We also have a lanyard hole integrated into our backspacer, relatively short backspacer, just enough to house our 2 screws as well as that lanyard hole. So I think that looks great, and really nice placement for the lanyard hole as well. I definitely prefer that over a more centered positioning. Nice deep carry pocket clip, kind of standard fare in terms of bent steel pocket clip there, but it's reversible for left or right hand carry, and nice deep carry on that. And then we have a few different deployment methods, and both are equally well kind of executed. So with our flipper, just the right amount of pressure, the detent seems really nice and dialed in there. I don't think I've ever failed flipping this open, and so just a nice kind of snappy action on our flipper tab, and it doesn't protrude too far out. It's relatively small, no jimping or anything on there, but don't really feel like it needs it. But you can see it doesn't protrude too far out, and thanks to that finger choil, you can kind of ignore it in the ergos of the knife itself, which I like. And then we also have the thumb stud. The thumb studs are a little bit larger on here, which I like. It feels like we get extra large thumb studs on here, but still plenty of access. You can see there's plenty of room around that finger groove to get it on both the thumb side and middle finger side. So really nice detent for that as well. It feels equally dialed in as our flipper tab. So if you want the middle finger flick, you can do that. Again, if you want the thumb flick, you can do that. And I do like the orange on here. I wouldn't mind seeing those accent colors on some of the other colors, but I think there's a lot of people out there that do prefer the more muted look, so I'm sure they appreciate just the black thumb studs on here. Overall, really, really nice knife. I love the ergos on it. That price point is extremely hard to beat. If you're looking for a larger budget knife, like I said, I think it's going to be hard to beat the value of the Tradition V2. Let me know what you think of these though down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or checking out some of my other content. If you are going to pick one up, I'll leave a link down in the description. Definitely appreciate if you use it. I get a couple dollars at no additional cost to you since I am an affiliate, but again, no pressure there. Obviously pick it up where it makes sense for you. Thanks again for watching, and have a great one. Take care.